Alright guys, an Ibanez Nita Strauss Jiva Jr. in this box. To say I've been looking forward to opening this thing is a bit of an understatement, so let's get it unboxed, shall we? Wow! Now look at that and tell me this is not a great looking machine. Yeah, I didn't think you could. Basic specs of our Ibanez Nita Strauss Jiva Jr. We've got 24 frets. They're not those rounded ball end frets, but they're certainly not bad. 2 humbuckers and a single coil, obviously. A volume and a tone knob. A 5-way selector switch. This is, I think, an Ibanez Edge Zero vibrato bridge. Okay, and this is, it's modeled on the S series, as I understand it, and it is light. Here, I have to do this thing, because this is what everybody does when reviewing this guitar. Very well balanced. And how much does this thing weigh? Let's see here. 5.8 pounds. This is a light guitar. I think the finish is deep sea blonde, named by Ms. Strauss herself. So let's plug it in and see how it feels and see how it sounds, shall we? Okay, the action is great on this thing, just right out of the box. When I pulled it out, before I plugged it in, you know, I fingered it, as you do, and I thought, oh, it's kind of choking out some notes up here, but that does not seem to be the case now that it's plugged in. So that's cool. Okay, now, the pickups. These are not DiMarzios, these are not Nita Strauss proprietary things like come on the, you know, the $1,800 and $20 million versions of this guitar. These are Ibanez Quantum pickups. Let us see how they sound. Now, I'm going to compare this sound of these pickups to the Seymour Duncans that I have on my Jackson Pro DK2QM. But anywho, the Seymour Duncans on my Jackson are good pickups. They are brand name pickups. They sound great. Let's see how these stack up, shall we? And I'm going to keep the settings on the amplifier, including the volume, absolutely the same. Microphone placement, absolutely the same. Let's see how they sound. Well, I'll have to listen back to that, obviously, but I didn't hear a whole hell of a lot of difference, if any. Now, there was a little bit of difference because these strings are not stretched, and in between takes I had to retune the thing every time. And so yeah, that made a little bit of difference in this sounded discordant once in a while. But nonetheless, that had nothing to do with the timbre, as it were, of the sound. The pickups sound as though they are at the same level. They're just as hot as the Seymour Duncans. The sound quality, I think, sounds pretty much identical. Now, as I said, I'll have to listen back to this, but that's what I got. So, final judgment on this here thing, the Nita Strauss Ibanez Jiva Jr. This is the less expensive sibling to the like $1,700 version and the $20 million version. But it's got the ebony fretboard, it's got the 24 frets, it's got that really cool inlay, you know, on the fretboard. It's made of the same wood, it's got the same trem system. As far as I can tell, the only thing that is different are the pickups, because the more expensive version has a Nita Strauss's own brand of DiMarzio pickups in them, and this doesn't. I don't know what other difference there could be, except maybe under the hood. You know, what, maybe the pots or something are a little less sturdy in this guitar than in its more expensive siblings. But whose pots ever go out anyway unless they play the guitar for a gazillion hours? So that's honestly not something I'm concerned about. Now, what does this beast cost? This thing runs, list price is $7.99. You can find it a little bit cheaper. You can also find it a little bit more expensive. Is it worth that? Well, if you have $7.99 to spare, it might be, and it looks cool. I'm quoting my friend Max Carlisle, Guitar Max, which I do a lot because Max says a lot of good things. That it sounds silly, but when you walk into a room to practice your guitar, it's nice if there's a guitar that just looks like it wants you to play it. And man, this does. I think this is a beautiful machine. Flip the hang tag there. I honestly don't see how the more expensive siblings of this thing could play any better or sound any better than this does. So that's what I got. The Ibanez Nita Strauss Jiva Jr. That is our review. Hey, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you feel the urge. Come back next week. If all goes well, I'll have another Ibanez 2 review and compare with this. And if that thing doesn't arrive on time, I'll do something else. All right, you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.